Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamine, Namaste Saraswate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshkarine, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita shloka. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 34. So we'll just go in order. Isha, you can begin.
मृत्युसर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्ति श्रीराक्षनानीनां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
Madhava.
मृत्यु
Adhavavastabhavasyatam kirti sriyatvaksanarinam smritar dhriti sama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, unseen, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
Rasapriya.
मृत्युसर्वहरस्ताहम् उद्भवश्च कीर्तिः श्रीवत्सनारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधारिक्षमा. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita 10:34. Mrityu sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam smritir medha dhriti kshama. I am all devouring death and the generating principle, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So, we will read Srimad Bhagavatam now. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 8. So, in Chapter 7, we read about the descendants of Mandata, and in Chapter 8, we are reading about the descendants of Rohita. So, we remember what we read about, what did we read in Chapter 8 yesterday? No? Sagara. Yeah, go ahead, Rasapriya.
The King Sarva was doing a sacrifice.
Who?
King Sarva.
King Sagara. But who is King Sagara? Anyone remembers who is King Sagara? No? Okay. Sagara. What does Sagara mean? With poison. Someone who is born with poison. Why is he born with poison? His mother was given poison by the co-wives. So who is this mother and who is her husband? Bahuka, right? Bahuka? Yeah, coming in the descent of here. So Rohita's son was Harita, Harita's son was Champa, Champa's son was Sudeva, Sudeva's son is Vijaya, Vijaya's son is Bharuka, Bharuka's son is Vrika, Vrika's son is Bahuka. Bahuka left home to take Vanaprastha. He went with his wife. Why? Because he was too disturbed by enemies. And while in forest, he was old and he gave up his body, he died. Then his wife wanted to commit sati along with her husband, but Aurva Muni told her not to do that because he found out she was pregnant. So then she didn't enter the fire with her husband. But the other wives of Bahuka, being jealous, I guess they conspired to give poison to this wife. And still the baby was born. And the baby was born along with the poison. Therefore the name of this child is Sagara. Now, Rasapriya, what were you saying? Sagara? Maharaj?
So he was doing a Aswamedha sacrifice, and then Indradev stole the horse. So then King Sarva sent his sons to go and find the horse.
Before that, King Sagara had two wives. One was Sumati, the other was Keshini. So first he sent Sumati's sons to go and find the horse. How the horse disappeared?
Indra stole it.
Yes, Lord Indra stole the horse. Okay. Then, so did we also read about the trenches created? Anyway, we are in text 12. Let me see. Yeah, so they went looking for the horse, and while they were looking for the horse, they were digging up the earth in search of the horse. So they created such deep trenches that eventually those trenches turned into Sagara, the ocean. There in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said Ganga Sagar was also created by the sons of Sagara. That's why the name Sagara. The ocean, the trenches created by the sons of Sagara. And then finally they came to Kapil Muni's ashram looking for the horse. There they saw the horse near Kapil Muni's ashram. But what? Along with the horse they saw Sagara Muni, Kapil Dev sitting there in meditation. So what did they think? How many of them were there? Huh? 60,000. 60,000 sons of Sumati and Bahuka. So they saw and they said, so it's also said about the sons of Sumati that they were, you know, bad. Yeah. So they were like proud. So when they saw Kapil Muni in meditation, they concluded that he stole the horse. So they just all 60,000 of them decided to attack Kapil Dev. They raised their weapons and rushed towards Kapil Dev to attack him for stealing the horse. Oh, by the way, why did they act like this? Why did they even think that Kapil Dev has stolen the horse? This was by the influence of Lord Indra. So that we discussed yesterday. So then, what happened then? Because of their own offense, what is their offense? Kapil Dev is such a great personality, and they physically, offenses are also of different degrees. Verbally, offending someone verbally, that's also an offense. But physically attacking someone, a devotee, a great person, that's a serious offense. And what to speak of killing, that's the worst type of offense. So the consequences of such offenses are also according to the degree of seriousness. So the results will also be equivalently severe. So in this case, they wanted to kill Kapil Dev. They raised their weapons and they wanted to kill Kapil Dev. So because of this offense, the fire in their bodies increased. It increased to such an extent that the whole body got burnt into ashes instantly. All 60,000 of them just dropped down in the form of ashes because the heat, the fire in their bodies increased to such an extent. Not that Kapil Dev burnt them, fire came from his eyes, not like that. But by their own offense, the fire in their bodies increased and they burned to ashes. Right there. So we also read about Amshuman. Let's check. Yeah, so text 11 we read, by the influence of Indra, the king of heaven, the sons of Sagara had lost their intelligence and disrespected a great personality. Consequently, fire emanated from their own bodies and they were immediately burned to ashes. So next verse, we'll just go. Isha, you can start. न साधुवादो मुनिकोपवर्जिता नृपेन्द्रपुत्रा इति सत्त्वधामनि कथं तमो रोषमयं विभाव्यते जगत्पवित्रात्मनिखेरजो भुवः.
It is sometimes argued that the sons of King Sagara were burned to ashes by the fire emanating from the eyes of Kapilmuni. This statement, however, is not approved by great learned persons, for Kapilmuni's body is completely in the mode of goodness, and therefore cannot manifest the mode of ignorance in the form of anger, just as the pure sky cannot be polluted by the dust of the earth.
Yes. So first of all, the statement that the sons of Sagara were burned by the fire coming from the eyes of Kapildev, that statement is wrong. And then why there cannot be anger coming from Kapildev's body? Because he is in the mode of goodness, it is said. In fact, Kapildev is an incarnation, so he should be in the mode of pure goodness. So therefore, such a body cannot manifest the mode of ignorance in the form of anger, just as the pure sky cannot be polluted by the dust of the earth. Pure sky cannot be polluted by the dust of the earth. Yeah. Sky is so high, the dust of the earth cannot touch the sky, but it can only cover our vision. So that dust which rises from the earth just forms an atmosphere above the earth, and to us it's close to us on the earth, but to us it seems like the sky is covered by dust, but actually the dust can never touch the sky is very high. So similarly, Kapil Dev is transcendental, so how can the mode of ignorance touch him? How can he become angry coming in the mode of ignorance? It's not possible. Therefore, it is not true that from his eyes, out of anger, fire emanated, and by that the sons of Sagara were burned to ashes. Such a statement is false. So, who's going to read next? Krishnashish or Madhava? यस्येरिता सांख्यमयी दृढे हनौर्यया मुमुक्षुस्तरते दुरत्ययम् भवार्णवं मृत्युपथं विपश्चितः परात्मभूतस्य कथं पृथं मतिः.
Kapil Muni enunciated in this material world the Sankhya philosophy, which is a strong boat with which to cross over the ocean of nations. Indeed, a person eager to cross the ocean of the material world may take shelter of this philosophy. In such a greatly learned person, situated on the elevated platform of transcendence, how can there be any distinction between enemy and friend?
Yes. Even a devotee of the Lord does not have such a distinction of enemy and friend. We saw in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, when he is instructing his classmates, there he says, right, this seeing someone as mine and someone as outsider, this is my friend and this is my enemy, this is a materialistic conception. A devotee does not have this type of conception. If a devotee of the Lord does not have, how the Lord can have such a conception that this is an enemy and this is a friend, this person should be hated and this person should be loved? It's not possible. So, Kapila Muni enunciated in this material world the Sankhya philosophy. So, Kapila Muni, the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, he gave the Sankhya philosophy, the original Sankhya philosophy. Srila Prabhupada often mentions that there was another atheistic Kapila Dev who gave a materialistic or impersonal Sankhya philosophy, right? Sankhya philosophy means which is not the original, right? Mayavad. He gave the Mayavad Sankhya philosophy was given by atheistic Kapil Dev, but original Kapil Dev gave the original Sankhya philosophy. So here, Kapil Muni enunciated in this material world the Sankhya philosophy, which is a strong boat with which to cross over the ocean of nations. So it is a system, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave us Nishkama Karma Yoga, and in the 5th chapter, there we talk. So it's Sankhya philosophy comes under the Jnana Yoga. So this Sankhya philosophy is also an authorized method to realize the absolute truth. Like there is Jnana Yoga, there is Ashtanga Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, and of course ultimately there's Bhakti Yoga. So this Sankhya Yoga is a bona fide philosophy given by Kapil Dev, and anyone who follows this, uh, this philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, is a strong boat with which to cross over the ocean of nations. Indeed, a person eager to cross the ocean of the material world may take shelter of this philosophy. In such a greatly learned person, situated on the elevated platform of transcendence, how can there be any distinction between enemy and friend? It's not possible. So, how can he get angry on the sons of Sagara and burn them to ashes, considering them to be his enemy? It's not possible. Kapil Dev is on the platform of transcendence. So, seeing someone as enemy and friend, that is on the material platform. So, it's not possible that he could have burned the sons of Sagara. Purport. Madhav.
One was promoted to a transcendental person from a Buddha, thus different, Prasanatma. He then affected by the false distinctions between good and bad in the material world. Therefore, such an exalted person is Sama
Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu.
Sarvesu Bhutesu. That is to say, he is equal toward everyone, not distinguishing between friend and enemy. Because he is on the absolute platform, free from material contamination, he is called Paramatma Bhuta or Brahma Bhuta. Kapila Muni, therefore, was not at all angry at the sins of Sagara Maharata. Rather, they were burnt to ashes by the heat of their own bodies.
Yeah, so it's being clarified here that because there is this opinion that uh, Kapil Dev burnt the sons of Sagara by, just like Lord Shiva opened his third eye when he saw Kamadev trying to agitate Lord Shiva when he was doing his meditation. When Kamadev came to agitate, then Lord Shiva, out of anger, opened his third eye, and Kamadev was burnt to nothing, not even ashes. There were no ashes even left. His body just disappeared. That's why Kamdev's another name after that incident is Ananga, no Anga. He had no body. He lost his body. Not even ashes were remaining, like that. So it's not like that in the case of Kapil Dev, that he opened his eyes and out of anger. Or another instance is Muchukunda, right? Muchukunda was sleeping, and this Kala Yavana came and kicked Muchukunda when he was sleeping, and Muchukunda woke up and he looked at Kala Yavana out of anger, who has disturbed my sleep. And then as soon as he looked at the person, he just burned to ashes. The fire emanated from the eyes. So we shouldn't consider that Kapil Dev also, when these 60,000 sons of Sagara, when they attacked Kapil Dev, it's not that Kapil Dev became angry and from his eyes fire emanated and burnt them to ashes. No, it's not like that. So to substantiate that point, these verses are being said. How is it possible for Kapil Dev, who gave the Sankhya philosophy, who is on a transcendental plane, how is it possible for him to consider someone as his friend and someone as his enemy? And then thinking someone to be his enemy, he will go and burn them to ashes, kill them by getting angry on them. How is it possible? That's one point. Then the other thing is Kapil Muni, yeah, same thing. Kapil Muni gave Sankhya philosophy. Yeah. Yeah, that we read already. Okay, so in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, one who is promoted to the transcendental position is always jubilant. Yes, transcendental. Kapil Dev is giving the way. He is the authority. Even the practitioners can reach transcendence by following the path given by Kapil Dev. He is showing the path how to cross this material existence. And anyone who follows the method given by Kapil Dev, he is able to cross this material existence. He is able to achieve transcendence by following the path given by Kapil Dev. Is it possible that someone who is on the material platform can give a path by which one can reach transcendence? It's like, unless you have it, how you can give it to someone else? If you want to give someone, if you want to help someone, you want to give them $10, then first you should have those $10, then you can give someone. You may have all good intention, but if you don't have $10, how you will give $10? So Kapil Dev is himself on the transcendental platform, therefore he is able to give a path using which others are able to also achieve transcendence. So how can we justify, how can we accept that he has given this path and anyone who follows this path sincerely crosses this material existence and achieves transcendence, but he himself is in the material modes? That's why he got angry, and out of anger he burnt to ashes the sons of Sagara. Doesn't make sense. That's the argument here. Anyone who follows the path given by Kapil Dev, he becomes Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Prasannatma, he is always joyful. Na sochati na kankshati. He is not lamenting. He is not hankering for something. Then why he will get angry? When does one get angry? When does one get angry? When his lust is not satisfied. Kamesha krodhesha rajoguna samudbhava. Right? Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. Rajoguna means the mode of passion. When the mode of passion increases, there is lust. When this lust is not satisfied, then there is anger. Then there is anger. So anger is coming from the mode of passion. Actually, anger is in ignorance. But the root is, first, because of passion, there is lust. When lust is not satisfied, then there is anger. Isn't it? So, Kapil Dev is getting angry. That means he's in the mode of ignorance or mode of passion and ignorance. But he's already in transcendence. So, it doesn't make sense at all. So, we cannot accept. Some people say, it is said in the Bhagavatam shloka itself, some people say that Kapil Dev opened his eyes and fire came from his eyes and then it burnt the sons of Sagara. So, Sukadev Goswami is saying this is not a right statement. Why it is not right a statement? He is explaining here. Because he is on the transcendental plane. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining, one who is promoted to the transcendental position, Brahmabhuta, is always jubilant, prasannatma. He is unaffected by the false distinctions between good and bad in this material world. Therefore, such an exalted person is samaha sarveshu buddheshu. He has equal vision, pandita samadarshinaha. Right? So he samah sarveshu bhuteshu, someone who is already on the Brahmabhuta platform, he sees all living entities equally. There's no question of seeing someone as friend and someone as enemy, my person and outsider. No, he won't have that vision. He's equal to everyone, not distinguishing between friend and enemy. Because he is on the absolute platform, free from material contamination, he is called Paratma Bhuta or Brahma Bhuta. Kapil Muni therefore was not at all angry at the sons of Sagar Maharaj. Even though they came to attack him, he was not at all angry with them. Then why they got burnt to ashes? Because of their own offense. By their offense to a great personality, heat of their own bodies increased and burnt them to ashes. Text 14. यो समञ्जस इत्युक्तः सकेशिन्या नृपात्मजः तस्य पुत्रोंशुमान् नाम पितामहः हिते रतः. Dasapriya, your turn.
Among the sons of Sagar Maharaj, one was named Asamanjasa, who was born from the king's second wife, Keshi. The son of Asamanjasa was known as Amsam, and he was always engaged in working for the good of Sagar Maharaj, his grandfather.
Yes. So we saw that Sagara Maharaj had two queens, two wives. One was Sumati, other was Keshini. Sumati had 60,000 sons, and they went looking for the horse, and they were the ones that got burnt to ashes. Now, Sagara's other wife Keshini had a son called Asamanjasa. Keshini had a son called Asamanjasa. Asamanjasa had a son called Amshuman. So Amshuman is the grandson of Sagara. That's the point. So when the boys, right, the 60,000 sons didn't return, what happened? Oh, that we will find out. Now we are just reading that there was one grandson of Sagara called Amshuman. And what is his nature? What are his, what is his glory? He was always engaged in working for the good of Sagar Maharaj's grandfather. Yeah, he was a he was the good child of the family, always working for the welfare of his grandfather. Asamanjasa atmanam darshayan asamanjasam jatismarah pura sangad yogi yogad vichalitah आचरन् गर्हितं लोके ज्ञातीनां कर्म विप्रियं सरैवां क्रीडतो बालान् प्रास्यद् उद्वेजयन् जनम्. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Formerly, in his previous birth, Asamanjasa had been a great mystic yogi, but by bad association, he had fallen from his exalted position. Now, in this life, he was born in a royal family and was a Jati Smara, that is, he had the special advantage of being able to remember his past birth. Nonetheless, he wanted to display himself as a miscreant, and therefore he would do things that were abominable in the eyes of public and unfavorable to his relatives. He would disturb the boys sporting in the river Saryu by throwing them into the depth of the water. Hare
Wow.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we are now talking about Asamanjasa. Asamanjasa is who? Asamanjasa is the son of Sagara. Sagara's son from Keshini is Asamanjasa. This Asamanjasa was a great mystic yogi in his previous life. He was a great mystic yogi. So even yogis can also get into bad association. Like we saw Saubari Muni, association does not have to be only with human beings. So many different types you can get bad association. But anyway, this Asamanjasa, when he was a great mystic yogi in his previous life, he got bad association and he fell down from his position. He fell down from his position. So now, when he took birth again, purposely he wanted to look like a bad person. Do you remember some personality from Bhagavatam who did like that?
Bharat
Anyone?
Maharaj?
Bharat Maharaj, who became Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat. So again, Bharat Maharaj also had a fall down. Why a fall down? He was in a human body and he had to take the body of a deer. So in that sense, yes. And also, he gave up his practices of bhakti. Because of attraction to a deer, he gave up his practices. So that was a fall down. When you stop your devotional service because of some material attraction, that means it's a fall down. So, and then But he was a Jati Smara. Same this. Asamanjasa was also a Jati Smara. Jati Smara means he remembers his previous life and he remembers why he fell down. And now he wants to take precaution not to repeat the same mistake. So even in the dear body, Bharat Maharaj remembered why he fell down. And then again when he took birth as Jad Bharat, he remembered. So therefore, right from the beginning, he acted like a dull person, dumb, deaf, like that, on purpose. So I'm just remembering that here. About Asamanjasa, it is said that on purpose, although he was born in a royal family, but he wanted to display himself as a miscreant, like a bad person. Like Jad Bharat wanted to display himself as a dull person, an ignorant person. So here, Asamanjasa wanted to display himself as a bad person. Do you remember another person who would play with classmates? I mean, classmates means boys same age, and he would throw them into the river with the intention of drowning them and killing them. Small boy playing. Remember anyone? No? Do you remember? I'll ask the question again. Do you remember another personality from Bhagavatam who, even as a small boy, while playing with boys of his age, would just drown them in the river with the intention to kill
Bhima.
them? Who?
No, not Bhima. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Yeah, Vena. That's right, Vena. Who is Vena? Yes, Ritu Maharaj's father and Anga's son. That is Vena. Correct. Of course, Vena was actually a miscreant. He was actually a bad person, a wicked, cruel person. How we know? Not only that's why his father left home. Anga left home because he could not correct his son. He could not improve him. And then he was fed up, and then he just left family and he went away. And this Vena, he became the next king. And when he became king, he stopped all sacrifices for the Supreme Lord, all Brahminical activities he stopped. And he said, now everyone should worship me, like Hiranyakashipu. So Vena was actually a bad, cruel person. So then the Brahmins had to chant mantras and end his life. And churning his body, Ritu Maharaj was, manifested. So anyway, but here Asamanjasa wanted to show himself as a bad person. So for that reason, he would do things which are considered abominable in this world. So he would disturb boys who were playing in river Sarayu. He would throw them into the depths of the water like that. Asamanjasa. That's about Asamanjasa, who is the son of Sagara from Keshini. Evam vrittah parityaktah pitra sneham apohya vai yogaishwaryena balam stan darshayitva tato yayau. So after Rasapriya, Sonia Mataji, you read, right, just now? I think you read.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Neelambari Mataji.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji.
I'll read the translation, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Because Asamanjasa engaged in such abominable activities, his father gave up affection for him and had him exiled. Then Asamanjasa exhibited his mystic power by reviving the boys and showing them to the king and their parents. After this, Asamanjasa left Ayodhya.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna Mataji. So from this also we can understand that Asamanjasa was not a bad person like Vena. Vena never brought them back to life. He never brought them back. And also Anga should have banished Vena. He didn't banish Vena. You know why? Because Anga, first of all, didn't have any sons. He didn't have any sons. And that was the cause of uh, his anxiety for a long time. Because he had a responsibility as a king to give the next king, right? So he had to produce an heir. So he was doing all these yagyas, and then he found out that, because of a curse from previous life, he was not going to get any sons. But anyway, you know, they chanted some mantras, and then finally they said, "You'll get a son," but yeah, so he got a son, but the son was Vena, an only son. And then he tried to rectify him. He couldn't rectify. He became, you know, it's better to be sonless than to have a son like this, like that, he was thinking. And then finally he said, uh, actually, this is good. If I have a good son, then I'll become attached to him and I won't take to Krishna consciousness. It's good to have a bad son. Now I don't have any attachment to my family, to my son. I can now freely leave home and go and surrender to Krishna. Thinking like this happily one night without telling anyone, he left the kingdom and went away. That was Anga. So there Vena was actually bad. But here you see Asamanjasa, his father also, he actually corrected him. What did he do? He exiled him to the forest. Asamanjasa's father is Sagara. Oh, you killed the other boys, you drowned them in the river. You have to be punished for this. You go, you are exiled to the forest. But who is Asamanjasa? He was a great mystic yogi. And he was Jati Smara. He remembered everything. He was a yogi still. So what did he do after he was exiled? He brought all the dead boys back to life. The boys that he drowned in the river, he brought them all back to life. He showed them to the king, his father, and also to the parents of those boys. Returned the boys to them. But he left. I'm going now. Bye bye. So he left home. Asamanjasa left home to go to the forest. He left Ayodhya. Yeah. Purport. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. You're not able to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes,
Sorry
Mataji.
Mataji.
No problem.
Bhavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandapranam, Mataji. Yes,
As Manjasa was a Jati Smara, because of his mystic power, he did not forget his previous consciousness. Thus, he could give life to the dead. By exhibiting wonderful activities in relation to the dead children, he certainly attracted the attention of the king and people in general. Then he left that place immediately.
Yes. See, if he had shown all these powers before, what would have happened? They would all be like, it would just be, he would get a lot of attention and, which he didn't want, right? Because in the previous life, it is said because of bad association, he fell down from his position. So he wants to be careful this time. But he showed why he showed them. Otherwise, the king would have so much pain in his heart, isn't it? Oh, my son, he turned out to be a spoiled boy, and So he relieved the king. No, it's not like that here. They're all back to life, and they would be so impressed. My God, my son has such powerful, mystic powers. But then, after showing them, he just left. Continue. So next, he left that place immediately. अयोध्यावासिनः सर्वे बालकान् पुनरागतान् दृष्ट्वा विसिस्मिरे राजन् राजा चाप्यन्वतप्यता. सौजन्य माताजी.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Pranam. Jai Shri Krishna.
O King Parikshit, when all the inhabitants of Ayodhya saw that their boys had come back to life, they were astounded, and King Sagara greatly lamented the absence of his son.
So the boy went away, And this is even more painful actually. To know that the boy is a bad boy and he left, that is pain. But to find out that, oh, actually he was such a good boy and, I sent him away and now he's gone, that's so much more pain. So the king lamented that his boy has left. Greatly lamented the absence of his son. And of course, all the inhabitants of Ayodhya, they were astounded to see that this prince could bring the dead boys back to life. It was amazing. They were astounded. Okay, next Vindyavali Mataji. अंशुमांश्चोदितो राज्ञा तुरगान्वेषणे ययौ पितृव्यखातानुपथं भस्मान्ति ददृशे हयम्.
Hare Krishna, my humble obeisance all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
My humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. Therefore, Amsuman, the grandson of Maharaj Sagara, was ordered by the king to search for the horse, following the same path traveled by his uncles. Amsuman gradually reached the stack of ashes and found the horse nearby.
Yes. So, this explanation of Asamanjasa is given because we may wonder why the king didn't send Asamanjasa. Instead, he sent Asamanjasa's son. Right? First, he sent Sumati's sons. Then he should have sent Keshini's son. Why Keshini's grandson was sent? Because the son left home. Asamanjasa had left home to go to the forest. That's why when these 60,000 sons of Sumati became burnt to ashes, the father sent Amshuman. The father means Amshuman's grandfather. He sent Amshuman to look for the 60,000 sons and the horse. Look for the sons means they must have heard that the 60,000 sons are now burnt. They didn't return and the horse also didn't come back. So he went looking for the horse. The yagya is still not completed. Ashwamedha yagya was to be performed. That yagya is still incomplete because the horse disappeared. So Amshuman went looking for the horse. He followed the same path that was taken by Sumati's sons. You remember they made so many trenches, so it must have been easy to find the trail. So he followed the same path traversed by his uncles. Amshuman gradually reached the stack of ashes and found the horse nearby. Tatrasinam munim vikshya kapilakhyam adhokshajam astaut samahitam manah pranjalihi pranato mahan. So, who is next? We start again. Isha.
The great Amshuman saw the sage named Kapila, the saint who was an incarnation of Vishnu, sitting there by the horse. Amshuman offered him respectful obeisances, folded his hands, and offered him prayers with great attention.
The great Amshuman saw the sage named Kapila. Amshuman also came to the same place. Is Kapil Dev's ashram. He saw Kapil Dev sitting there in meditation. Kapila, the saint who is an incarnation of Vishnu, sitting there by the horse. The horse was next to him. What did Amshuman do? As opposed to his uncles, when he saw Kapil Dev, he offered him respectful obeisances, folded his hands, and offered him prayers with great attention. This is the difference. Next, 21, Krishna Shish. Amshumanu vacha na pashyati tvam paramatmano jano na buddhyate dyapi samadhi yukti bihi kuto pare tasya manah shariradhi visarga srishtavayam aprakashah. Translation.
Anshuman said, My lord, even Lord Brahma is to this very day unable to understand your position. which is far beyond himself, either by meditation or by mental speculation. So what to speak of others like us, who have been created by Brahma in various forms as demigods, animals, human beings, birds, and beasts? We are completely in ignorance. Therefore, how can we know you, who are the transcendents?
So, what do we understand by Amshuman's prayer? He recognized Kapil Dev to be Lord Vishnu. He recognized. He offered obeisances, and then he said, even Lord Brahma is not able to know you, has not been able to know you. He is there since the beginning of creation, but Brahmaji, is not able to know you. Then what is our capacity to know you? Like that. Amshuman said, my Lord, even Lord Brahma is to this very day unable to understand your position, which is far beyond himself. Brahma is so great in this universe. We know the lifespan of Brahma, right? He lives for his 100 years, and that is equivalent to our, how many? 3 trillion years something. A big number. So Brahmaji is so great. But Brahmaji is, the Lord Vishnu is much, much greater than Brahma. Cannot be compared. And Brahma, who is so great, is not able to understand the position of Lord Vishnu even to this day. Who is saying this? Amshuman is saying. He is far beyond himself. And how he is not able to understand? By meditation or by mental speculation. Not by Ashtanga Yoga process, nor by Jnana process. You can understand Bhagavan. So what to speak of others like us, who have been created by Brahma? If Brahma is not able to understand, how can we understand you? We are created by Brahma in various forms as demigods, animals, human beings, birds and beasts. We are completely in ignorance. Therefore, how can we know you, who are the transcendents? Okay, next Madhava.
Ittadveta samuttena mandamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sargayanti parantapa. O sign of Bharata, Arjuna, O conqueror of the four, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the duality of desire and hate. 27.27. All living beings in the material world are influenced by the 3 modes of material nature. Lord Brahma is in the mode of goodness. Similarly, the demigods are generally in the mode of passion. The living entities, those are the demigods, and as human beings and animals, are in the mode of ignorance, are in mixed goodness, passion, and ignorance. Therefore, Amsuman wanted to explain that because his uncles were burnt to ashes or under the mode of material nature, they could not understand Lord Kapil Dev. Because you are beyond even the direct and indirect intelligence of Lord Brahma, he prayed, unless we are enlightened by our Lordship, it will not be possible for us to understand you.
Yes. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम इंद्रिय सेवन मुखे ही जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. Swayameva spuratyada means he himself will reveal about himself to us. Otherwise, if the Lord does not reveal himself, there is no way anyone can understand him. So, Srila Prabhupada is quoting Ichha Dvesha Samuttena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. Sarva Bhutani Sammoham. All living entities are bewildered. Sammoham. Sarge Yanti Parantapa. O sign of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. All living beings in the material world are influenced by 3 modes of material nature. Even Lord Brahma is in the mode of goodness. Yeah, he's actually the deity controlling the mode of passion. But you know that all demigods are in the mode of goodness, right? Human beings are like earthly planets are in the mode of passion primarily. Higher planets are primarily in the mode of goodness, and lower planets are primarily in the mode of ignorance. So like that, Lord Brahma is in the mode of goodness. His is the highest planet. In the upper planets also, he is in the topmost planet. As you go higher and higher, they are more and more advanced. So Brahmaji is in the topmost planet. So certainly he is in the mode of goodness. Like that. But of course, because he does creation, and for creation creation is done in the mode of passion. Lord Brahmaji is controlling the mode of passion. That's why he's creating. That is different. But he himself is in the mode of goodness. So everyone, all living beings, from Lord Brahma down to the smallest virus, right? Everyone is influenced by the modes of material nature. Even Lord Brahma himself is in the mode of goodness. Similarly, the demigods are generally in the mode of passion, and living entities lower than the demigods, such as human beings and animals, are in the mode of ignorance, or in mixed goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, so here Srila Prabhupada is saying demigods are generally in the mode of passion. So I think we'll just take it according to context. In Bhagavad Gita, when we study about the modes of material nature, urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaganya guna vrittistha, adho gacchanti tamasa. So there it is said higher planets are in goodness. So higher planets means the demigods, they are in goodness. Middle planets are in passion. Lower planets are in ignorance. Like that it is said. So here it is said that the demigods are in passion, and men and animals are put in the same category of ignorance. Okay. So just take it in according to context. So the demigods are generally in the mode of passion. Living entities lower than the demigods, such as human beings and animals, are in the mode of ignorance, or in mixed goodness, passion, and ignorance. Actually, everything is mixed. You don't find pure, modes in this material world. Pure goodness you won't find. It's always mixed. Only the proportions are more. Lower planets means more proportion of ignorance, like that. So therefore Amshuman wanted to explain, he's offering prayers to Kapil Dev, right? So Amshuman wanted to explain that because his uncles who had burned to ashes were under the modes of material nature, they could not understand Lord Kapil Dev. You may understand, you may wonder why he's saying this statement here. I cannot understand. See, so much meaning is there. The Acharyas reveal it, that's when we can understand. The purpose of Amshuman saying this is that because, and what did he say? Lord Brahma, if Lord Brahma is not able to understand, what will I understand? I'm in the modes. I'm in the modes means my uncles were also in the modes. That's why, not understanding your position, they tried to attack you and they ended up like this. Because they are controlled by the modes, like that. So, Amshuman wanted to explain that because his uncles who had burnt to ashes were under the modes of material nature, they could not understand Lord Kapil Dev. That's why this verse is saying, who can understand you, my Lord? Right? Even Lord Brahma is not able to understand. Then what to speak of those who are created by Brahma? How we can understand? Why? Because everyone in this creation, from Lord Brahma down to the smallest creature, everyone is under the modes of material nature. And as long as you are under the modes of material nature, you cannot understand the Supreme Lord. That is his point. And that's why my uncles also could not understand you, he's saying. Because you are beyond even the direct and indirect intelligence of Lord Brahma. You are beyond the intelligence of Lord Brahma. He prayed, unless we are enlightened by your Lordship, it will not be possible for us to understand you. So by our intelligence, what is our intelligence compared to Brahmaji's intelligence? If Brahmaji is not able to understand you, how we can understand? The only way we will be able to understand you is when you reveal yourself, you enlighten us, right? Like we were reading in Bhagavad Gita. When you do bhakti, when the Lord is pleased, he enters your buddhi vritti. And then when he enters your buddhi vritti, he will make you experience him. That's the only way. There's no other way. When he comes and when he shows himself, that's the only way we can see, we can understand him. Otherwise, there's no other way we can understand him. That's what Amshuman is also saying. So it's not a wonder that we don't understand you, because we are after all controlled by the modes. My uncles also didn't understand because they are also controlled. Everyone in the creation is controlled by the modes. Therefore, no one is able to understand. Who is able to understand? Only those who have been enlightened by you. Only they are able to understand. Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji.
I just want to say that I like this sloka, down. Atapite deva padambujitve. Beautiful, beautiful sloka, that one. The meaning and everything,
This one, next one. Right.
Yeah. See, the way he was telling that even Brahma cannot understand. So your lotus feet. It's beautiful purport in the sloka, that one. I just want to say.
Thank you, Mataji. So next, Rasapriya. Read the second part of the purport. Mataji's.
The little girl will say, read.
Okay, the meter goes like this. Athapite deva padambujadvaya. Try.
Sanati Tatvam Bhagavan Mahimno Natanya Ekopitaram Vitsalam. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years.
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam 10.14.29. The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can be understood by one who is favored by the Lord. The Lord cannot be understood by others.
Yes, that's the conclusion.
Beautiful.
One who has received prasada lesha. Lesha means, like, we have Gita, Sarartha, lesha. Lesha means small, little bit, right? So, anyone who gets a lesha of your mercy of your lotus feet, that person can understand you. Others cannot understand you. And if by their own capacity, by doing this tapasya or jnana or yoga or studying, Sanskrit and this and that, can they understand you? They'll never understand you. Atapite deva padambujadvayam prasada leshanugrihita evi anugrihita prasada lesha anugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno. They can understand your greatness, Bhagavan's greatness, tattvata they can understand. Na chanya ekopi chiram vichinno. But they cannot understand anything about you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. So by speculation, they won't be able to understand anything. Janadi tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya ekopi chiram vichinman. Thank you for highlighting that verse, Mataji. So, everyone read today, right? I think so. Did anyone not read? Saujanya Mataji, raising your hand.
Bhataji, so I mean, it's really a very nice verse. How he was saying, nobody can understand you. At the same time, only if he come, like how you explained about the purport, only when he comes and gives us that realization, then only we'll know. And that happens only when we have little bit of that mercy, and that mercy will come only when you think of him, like Namasmar, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. And it's like a connection.
Absolutely, connection, yes.
To share.
But thank you. But think about him means in more explicitly, it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, when one does Ananya Bhakti, we have to begin Ananya Bhakti. By that Ananya Bhakti, when the Lord is pleased, then He will give His mercy. When He gives His mercy, then by His mercy, He enters, He reveals Himself to us by entering into our Buddhi Vritti and then showing Himself to us. So yes, that mercy Lesha of his mercy one has to get. But how to get that mercy, that is the thing. So, of course, when you do Ananya Bhakti, you get his mercy. But before getting the Lord's mercy, for you to even to do Ananya Bhakti, you need the mercy of the Lord's devotee.
Guru.
You need the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. When you get that mercy, then you will start Ananya Bhakti. And by doing Ananya Bhakti, you will get that. Of course, getting a Guru is also the Lord's mercy only. That's also there. Guru Krishna Kripai Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. But yeah, actually, the spiritual master is spiritual master and sadhus in general. They're independent. They give the mercy. It's not that the Lord gives mercy and then Guru comes. Actually, Guru gives mercy or sadhu gives mercy, and Krishna's mercy follows the sadhu's mercy. So first you need sadhu's mercy. Krishna won't come directly to anyone. First sadhu will give mercy, and then when sadhu, because the sadhu is very dear to Krishna, sadhu has already surrendered to Krishna. So therefore, when someone surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna becomes a puppet in his hand. Surrenders means different levels are there after surrender also. We are talking about those who have prema, right? Prema, bhaktas, uttama adhikaris, uttama bhaktas. Those devotees, their love for Krishna is so intense, it is like a rope. With that rope of love, they tie his feet. So he becomes helpless. He cannot go anywhere. He just stays there with them. Because they tie him up with the rope of their love. He cannot move. So in front of such premi bhaktas, if they tell him to stand, he will stand. If they tell him to sit, he will sit. He will not go anywhere. He'll just stay with them all the time. That is the position of Krishna in front of his premi bhaktas, those who have achieved love for Krishna. So that's why he'll be reciprocating with those devotees. Reciprocating means he will be dealing with those devotees directly. But somebody who has not come to bhakti yet and who is into this material world enjoying, for that person, Krishna won't talk directly. There's condition. But he still shows his mercy to all the conditioned souls by sending his devotees. He sends his devotees. And the devotees are coming and he sent Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur door to door in Navadvip. Begging, they go begging door to door. Please chant Krishna's names. Please worship Krishna. Please tell everyone about Krishna. Like this. So the Lord is very merciful even to non-devotees. But he sends his devotees to them and he leaves the scripture behind. He leaves Srimad Bhagavatam for us. He leaves Bhagavad Gita behind for us. And after taking help from sadhus and from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, when we begin Ananya Bhakti, then he becomes pleased and then he will give his mercy and then he reveals himself and then he becomes tied by the rope of love. That's the sequence. Thank you. So, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes, that's what I just want to say, Mataji. It's not easy to reach him, but he also tests how much interest you have, how much you're keen on knowing him.
Yeah, but exactly.
Sadhu in Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, that's what we need, devotee association. We don't know which devotee talks what. Somebody might talk in a nonsense like what color of your dress you are, where did you buy, like that. No, that is not the thing. Some are there. They will just reveal what is the scriptures say and some things. That association we need. And nowadays it's not that much, it's very less. But he's not that easy to reach, God, I'm praying today, God will talk to me. No, that is not the way.
Yes, Mataji.
It has
That's
to come. Even for children, we think, they want to catch that something on the stove, it is too hot. Little children, they want to touch that. If you go and act and everything, you show that, oh no, that is too hot. Or little bit, you give that little bit tinge of that thing. They practically, if they know, then they won't go there.
yes.
So that is what our all human beings we are. No matter whether we grow up or we are young, that experience we have to have. And practically, if we don't know, then we cannot reach his lotus feet.
So
That is
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Mataji, this bhakti is sukara and dushkara, both.
yeah,
Sukara means it's very easy also, very easy for
easy.
everyone. But dushkara at the same time, very difficult. Why it is easy? Because it is very simple. If you
Yes.
simply just, chant his names, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, who cannot give a leaf, a flower? It's available. The poorest person can give some water and win Krishna's heart. But at the same time, Sudushkara, because, as you were saying so nicely, it's not just, superficial,
Cannot
superfluous.
just throw patram pushpam parantoyam on him. You
Yo
have
me
to
bhaktya prayachati. Yeah.
yeah,
So that type of,
wholeheartedly that. It
yes.
makes a lot of difference. I also gave patram pushpam, like you said, Mataji. Oh no, that is not the way. How I gave, how you gave. Oh, you got the mercy, Mataji. I didn't get it. I also did the same thing. No, that is not the way. How we do, how much wholeheartedly we pray, and we are involved in that bhakti, that makes a lot of difference.
Yes. Yes. Sincerity. Sincerity. We may not have that bhava initially, but if we
Yeah.
have faith in the words of Guru and if we follow the procedure sincerely, then we will get there. Eventually, we will get that bhava, that feeling that will come. But we have to show our sincerity. That's why bhakti is performed under the guidance of a spiritual master. Follow the rules, regulations strictly, and that's how we show Krishna that we are serious. And by doing this, then love also will come. And then, it's a step-by-step process. Yes.
That's so simple. You sounds like simple, but it's not simple.
It's not. Yes.
You're
Yeah.
chanting also, yeah. I am also doing 20 times chanting. And what is that Krishna is not coming in front of me, but how much devotion, how much attention you're paying for when chanting.
Yes.
That makes a lot of difference.
Yes, Mati. Absolutely.
That's why I like that sloka very much.
Atapite deva pajanu athanu atapite deva
Padanbhujadvayam.
padambujadvaya prasada leshanu grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan vichinvan ekopi nachanyam. I have to see that last line again, but I will also memorize it now because you said it. I mean, one year for that what do you call it, Purushottam Mass, we were reciting Lord Brahmastuti every day. We were reciting all the verses the whole month. So at that time it was familiar, but now this year we didn't do because I was traveling. I was not able to do. Anyway, yeah. So let's read Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Introduction. Continuation. So we are reading about the 5 topics discussed in Bhagavad Gita. I'll just read. The position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is that of supreme consciousness. So what is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva? The Jivas, or the living entities being parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. But both the living entity and material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord. But one of the two, the Jiva, is conscious. The other, Prakriti, is not conscious. That is the difference. Therefore, the Jiva Prakriti is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's. But still, there's a difference between Lord and Jiva. What is that? The Lord's is supreme consciousness, however, and one should not claim that the Jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The living being cannot be supremely conscious at any stage of his perfection. So this is the Advaitavadis, they will say that when we become liberated, we are as good as the Supreme. But no, at any stage of perfection, the living being's consciousness cannot be supreme consciousness like the Lord's. And the theory that he can be so is a misleading theory. Conscious he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious. So you see, we saw in this paragraph the difference between Ishvara and Jiva, and also the difference between Jiva and Prakriti. Okay, and the relation of Jiva Prakriti with Ishvara. Okay, what is the relationship of Jiva and Prakriti with Ishvara? They are both the Lord's energies. What is the difference between Jiva and Prakriti? Jiva is conscious, Prakriti is not conscious, therefore Jiva is superior to Prakriti. What is the difference between the Lord and Jiva? Both are conscious, but the Lord's consciousness is supreme, whereas the Jiva's consciousness is not and cannot be supreme at any stage of perfection. So that's Srimad Bhagavad Gita reading for today, and I'll read one paragraph from Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, and I will let you all go. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Continuation. So, October 15, Srila Prabhupada received a letter from Sumati Morarji in Bombay. So, we saw that Prabhupada is invited to a university and Prabhupada gave lectures there, like that. Now, October 15th, Srila Prabhupada received a letter from Sumati Morarji in Bombay. Pujya Swami, I am in due receipt of your letter dated the 24th ultimo, and glad to know that you have safely reached the USA after suffering from seasickness. I thank you for your greetings and blessings. I know by now you must have recovered fully from the sickness and must be keeping good health. I was delighted to read that you have started your activities in the States and have already delivered some lectures. I pray to Lord Balakrishna to give you enough strength to enable you to carry the message of Sri Bhagavatam. I feel that you should stay there until you fully recover from your illness and return only after you have completed your mission. Here everything is normal. With respects, yours sincerely, Sumati Morarji. Prabhupada regarded the last line of this letter as especially significant. His well-wisher was urging him to stay in America until he had completed his mission. He had told the immigration officials in New York that he would be staying in America for 2 months. I have 1 month sponsorship in Butler, he thought, and then I have no support, so perhaps I can stay another month. So he had said 2 months. Sumati Morarji, however, was urging him to stay on. He saw that the prospects for preaching to the Americans were good, but he felt he would need support from India. At any rate, he had spent long enough in Butler, and he now had 1 month left in America. So he decided to go to New York City and try to preach there before his time was up. But first he wanted to visit Philadelphia. Haribol. But first, from Butler, he wanted to visit Philadelphia, where he had arranged a meeting with a Sanskrit professor, Dr. Norman Brown, at the University of Pennsylvania. Mrs. Agarwal was sorry to see him go. So we'll read that tomorrow. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining on a weekend. Thank you. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness.